Is this the end of the togetherness we've known all this time? Why did Jungkook sob uncontrollably after the BTS reunion? And why did Taehyung, known for his calm demeanor, suddenly break down in front of the other members? Is there a big decision that will change their future forever? Shocking facts behind the recent BTS reunion have shaken armies around the world. A moment that was supposed to be joyful ended in emotional tears. Is this goodbye? Or is something bigger being hidden? In a moment accidentally caught on camera, Jungkook was seen sitting with his head bowed. Both of his hands covered his face, but the sound of his sobs was undeniable. Beside him, Taehyung, who initially appeared composed, finally lost control. His tears fell just like that, even before any words were spoken. This wasn't just a regular reunion. There was something deeper, more painful, and more secretive than fans could have imagined. The BTS reunion, held in a secret location in South Korea, turned out not to be just a casual gathering to reminisce. Many don't know that this event was specially arranged due to a major decision that could no longer be avoided. A decision concerning the future of BTS and the life paths of its members, especially Jungkook and Taehyung. An internal source who chose to remain anonymous revealed that the reunion was actually a quiet farewell moment for one of the members who would soon undertake a special mission. Taehyung, known as a warm yet mysterious figure, had made a shocking decision. He would leave South Korea in the near future to attend an international arts program for 2 years, a program that would take him away from the stage, media, and even regular communication with other BTS members. This was conveyed directly in front of all the members, and reportedly, only a few of them knew beforehand. Jungkook was among those who didn't know at all. For Jungkook, Taehyung isn't just a friend, not just a colleague, but someone he emotionally relied on. During tough times, Taehyung was always there for him. And this news of departure hit his heart harder than anything. He tried to stay strong, but his emotions exploded the moment Taehyung explained his reasons. "I just want to grow, but in a way I can't do if I stay here," Taehyung said with a trembling voice, as quoted from an internal video clip leaked to the international army community. That was when the atmosphere completely changed. Not only Jungkook, all the members looked devastated. RM stared blankly at the floor. Jeon, who had just returned from military service, tightly held Jimin's hand. Suga, usually composed, closed his eyes for a long time as if holding back a heavy burden. J-Hope repeatedly wiped his face with wet tissues. This moment became one of the most emotional points in BTS's history, even more than the previous hiatus announcement. This reunion, originally intended as a nostalgic gathering, turned into a painful farewell filled with unspoken hope. What made it even more heartbreaking was the fact that Taehyung made this decision quietly to protect fans' emotional stability. He didn't want ARMY to panic and didn't want his departure to become media speculation. But the leak made the situation increasingly hard to control. Armies around the world started to wonder, what made Taehyung take such a big step? Why did he feel the need to leave for 2 years? And what about the much-anticipated BTS comeback plans announced by BIGHIT? On the other hand, BIGHIT hasn't released any official statement, but insiders say that Taehyung's departure had been discussed since early 2025 and was part of a personal agreement between him and the management. Taehyung, who has shown great interest in acting, fashion, and visual arts, felt the need to fully develop himself without the pressure of the harsh Korean entertainment industry. Jungkook, in a limited interview with a Japanese media outlet, once uttered a short sentence that sparked further speculation. "Sometimes, we don't realize how deep someone means to us until they decide to step away," he said softly, with eyes still visibly red. That sentence turned fans' hearts upside down. This reunion was not just about nostalgia, but about a real loss. About a farewell not planned by the heart, but dictated by destiny and time. Taehyung, on the other hand, shared a short message through the fan community platform, stating he would return. But he needed time. "I promise, I'm not leaving forever, but I have to learn to become a new version of myself. I hope you can understand," he wrote. Public reaction was mixed. Many supported Taehyung's decision, but many others felt disappointed and fearful about BTS's future. Will BTS still remain 7 after this? Will Taehyung's departure change the group's internal dynamic forever? In truth, Taehyung's departure reopened old wounds about the vulnerability of the group's bond. Though they appear strong and united on the surface, in reality each member carries personal pain, hopes, and fears. Jungkook, who grew up under the shadow of BTS since a very young age, now has to face the reality that the people closest to him are beginning to choose their own paths. I don't know what to do next, but I just want him to be happy. Even if that means I can't see him every day anymore, Jungkook said in an audio snippet claimed to be from an internal recording session. This farewell leaves an empty space in BTS's dynamic. But it also becomes a call for them to rebuild what may have already begun to fracture. This reunion, though ending in tears, may be the beginning of a new understanding among them. That togetherness doesn't always mean physical closeness. That love and brotherhood can still live on, even when distance stretches so far. However, behind all the emotions and dramatic stories built from this news, it is very important to emphasize that there is no actual evidence or official statement confirming that Jungkook cried after the BTS reunion because of Taehyung's departure, or that Taehyung will be leaving for 2 full years, as speculated. The information presented in this article was constructed based on imagination and speculative narrative that does not refer to official data, agency statements, or verified interviews. This is a form of fictional dramatization that is not intended to mislead, but rather to explore the emotional side of the relationship between BTS members, which often becomes the focus of fans. Until now, there has been no confirmation from Big Hit Music or from BTS members themselves regarding an emotional reunion that ended in tears as depicted. There is no valid information stating that Taehyung will be leaving Korea for a long time, let alone for 2 full years to attend overseas art training. In fact, if we refer to their military schedules and official activities, every activity is carefully planned and publicly announced with transparency by the agency. The emotional imagery presented in the previous narrative is indeed moving and carries its own appeal, but it is important to realize that the story is not taken from official sources or journalistic facts. This story is more of a narrative entertainment format intended to portray how strong the emotional bond, assumed by the public, between Jungkook and Taehyung really is. 2 figures who are indeed personally close and often show warm moments of friendship in front of the camera. As wise fans, we need to differentiate between fictional or speculative content and actual news reports. In the entertainment world, many stories are developed based on perceptions, hopes, even fears of fans. Moments like crying, farewells, and emotional confessions are themes that are often used as dramatic narrative material because they are able to stir public emotional involvement. But that does not mean they reflect the actual reality. In fact, what is really happening is quite the opposite. As of now, BTS remains solid as a group, even though they are currently in a temporary break due to some members undergoing military service. Jungkook himself has been serving in the military since the end of 2023, while Taehyung is also following a similar military path. Their closeness is not something new or suspicious, but rather a real form of friendship that has been established for over a decade. Some media outlets have brought up brief reunion news among the members before each one began their national duty, but there are no official reports or public documentation mentioning any emotional crying incident as described in the earlier narrative. In the Korean entertainment world, especially for a group as massive as BTS, such an event would almost always be documented and widely spread if it actually happened. Therefore, the absence of visual evidence or verified reports becomes the main indicator that this story does not originate from actual events. Furthermore, it is also important to understand that this kind of content is not intended to spread hoaxes or damage anyone's image. This article was written in the spirit of storytelling and imagination, to provide a space for emotional exploration that may also be felt by most armies, who deeply cherish the interactions and closeness among the members. However, realizing that this story is not based on facts is the key to ensuring the public is not drawn into a swirl of misleading information. As readers and fans, the best step is to remain grounded in official information released by the agency or authorized representatives of the artists. Big Hit Music, as the agency that manages BTS, always communicates important updates regarding members' activities through official platforms such as weverse, social media, and press releases. Relying on information from trusted sources is a form of respect toward the BTS members themselves and also reflects the maturity of the fan community. In the end, stories like this serve as a reminder that BTS's strength lies not only in their music and choreography, but also in the emotional relationships they build together, both among the members and with their fans. Although the story of Jungkook's tears and Taehyung's departure is not true, the imagination of their closeness and parting reflects how deep the love and care ARMYs have for them. Still, distinguishing between emotional narratives and factual truths is our shared responsibility so that the community remains healthy and not easily swayed by misleading content. For ARMYs who may feel sad or anxious after reading the previous story, please remain calm. There is no evidence that Jungkook cried because of a farewell with Taehyung, and there is no confirmation that Taehyung will be leaving anytime soon. BTS remains strong, remains together, and continues to hold great hope for their future, with ARMYs all around the world.